My name is Mark Blue. I was born and raised in Manchester. I was born in Withington Hospital. My mother was born in Jamaica, Clarendon, Maypen, and my father was born in Jamaica as well, a place called South Lamar. My mother came over by plane. Yeah, she was on plane. I think my father came over with his parents. All of them came over at the same time. So it was different from my father than my mother. My mother came here on her own. Pretty brave, actually, yeah. I think she must have been around the age of 21, 22 when she first came to Britain. Both of them will probably be the late 50s, I would say, around about that time. I didn't really, it's funny, because my mum didn't really speak about that as much. I came over on the plane and that was it. I think she more talked about her experience when she first came over. It's a massive culture shock. I mean, they were always told that Britain was the rose of painted with gold and all these kind of things and these massive illusions. And she came to realize that where she came from was paradise, so where she was going was not paradise. So you can imagine a culture shock when you come over it and you see a house with chimneys, smoke coming out of it, all those kind of things. Manchester is very grey, and you can imagine the winter times, them times were proper winter. It was really cold. Getting accommodation, it was just a different culture. Now there is more ethnic groups in England, so you can imagine when she came here, there weren't that many. So even seeing a black face on the street must have been sort of like excitement for her at those times. Lucky for my mother, I think a lot of people came from where she came from, Clarendon, to England, and a lot of them settled in Manchester. So it was different those days because people used to have house parties. They didn't go to clubs because they didn't play the same music, and a lot of the time they weren't welcome. So what they had to do is just have their own parties, and I think they used to call it in the days bottle parties. So everybody used to bring a bottle, and somebody would bring food as well, and then they just play some music on the ground, and that was their socialising. It was them to sort of like say, talk about the old days in Jamaica, things like catch up as well. You understand me? And it was also a support network, I suppose, for them. You understand me? So I think that's how they kind of coped to get through what they had to go through with all the barriers, what was in front of them.